The first question is from CP and he is saying, how is the baby going solid? Well, is it tea or is it vodka? I'll let you decide, mate. G'day guys, Solid here and welcome back to another Q&A. I know this one is a little earlier than usual, but this week has just been a complete fail as far as parenthood's gone. We've been in the emergency, seen multiple doctors. Me and my wife are absolutely exhausted, so this is the video that is coming to you this week. The next question is from Hamath, and he's asking me, Solid, would you turn off the ABS when riding on the gravel dirt roads? The short answer is yes, I would. But the long answer is not always. Now, I've been riding a while, so I'm not too bothered on dirt roads with ABS interfering because it's not too much of a problem, particularly if I'm riding from tarmac to tarmac and it's just a dirt road link and it's nothing serious. However, if you are riding properly off-road and you're spending most of the day in the dirt, as I do, you turn the ABS off. It just helps in a lot of factors, and ABS tends to get in the way off-road, impedes your ability to brake and back into corners, whereas you switch it off, you can dig yourself a trench if you really need to brake hard. It also helps you back into corners as well. And when you're going downhill, it really helps to have the full application of your brakes, because I found a few times going downhill, I forgot to turn my ABS off. You go to grab some brakes and the ABS lets the wheel keep turning, and that's something you really don't want to happen in an emergency or a really tight and tense situation, and it's happened to me a few times due to laziness. The next comment is a multiple comment asking me why I keep waffling on about spoke wheels versus cast wheels, because people have come back at me saying cast wheels are fantastic, you don't have to change the tubes, they're easier to clean, and you don't have to tighten any spokes. And those are all fair points, particularly if you're doing light adventure riding. But if you're into serious off-road riding, spoke wheels is what you need to have. Now, it's not necessarily that the cast wheels are going to fall apart on every ride you go on. It's more of a contingency, because if it does go wrong, alloy wheels are really hard to fix. In fact, impossible really out on the trail, because they break, crack, and snap. And that means the end of the ride and a trailer, whereas a spoke wheel, it has a lot more flex in it. And if it does bend, you can hammer it out, bash it flat with a rock, and limp your way home. And that's a big difference, particularly if you're doing a big multi-day trip. And to hammer home my point about it being the off-road wheel, look at all the bikes that race off-road, MX, Enduro, even dual sports, they all have spoke wheels. You don't need them if you're just doing easy adventure riding, but if you're getting serious off-road, it's definitely a good idea. The next comment is from Ed Barker, and he's talking about the 250SX V-Strom that I talked about in my last video, and he's saying he really wishes that Suzuki would just bump it up by 100 cc's and give us a new DR350, and I completely agree, mate. That would be a fantastic dual sport. If they kept it light, durable, 6 speeds, EFI, and a subframe for us, that would be fantastic. In fact, I think a lot of people would be ready to slap the unicorn sticker on it, and I would definitely be excited about a bike like that, but I don't think Suzuki are interested, which is a damn shame. A quick little shed update as well, as a lot of you want to know how that is going. Now, there's nothing new to show you outside, unfortunately, but the shed has taken a step back rather than a step forward. It's really disappointing. At the council process, I've got to the final building approval part and they've halted it because they're not confident that the retaining wall I've got is structurally sound enough to hold up the sheds. Now I'm having to get a second engineer to certify a special footing for the shed so that I can move ahead and get this approved. And if that doesn't work, I might have to move the location of the shed on the property, which could potentially mean thousands of dollars. It's not the best outcome, but we'll get there in the end. So I'll keep you updated as we go, but a bit of a down week. It's been frustrating. Regardless, I'm still excited to get it up because I've never had a garage or a shed for my bike in my life. So it's going to be a major milestone when I finally get it up and running, and I can't wait to show you guys. The next question is from Steven. He's saying, hey mate, how you doing, Steve? Who would you recommend getting the suspension done by here in Perth? New to the scene and looking at upgrading to the YSS suspension. I would recommend who I went to because he did a fantastic job and let me film the whole thing and just bend his ear about all the dumb questions that I had. And that's Russ at Dyno Time here in Perth. He's been doing it for years and years and years, almost as long as I've been on this planet. So he's got a wealth of experience and he has a particular love of the dirt. So he really knows what he's doing. Really, you cannot go wrong with Russ at dyno time. And I also use this question to bring up this point. Often I get a lot of questions, and this is no fault to you, Steve, where I've already talked about the subject. So before you've got a question, do yourself a favor and just go through my video catalog, given there are an awful lot of videos on there of me waffling on about many topics. But the point is, I've generally talked about the question you've got. And in this case, I've done a 3-part series on the YSS suspension. And one of those videos is completely at dyno time with Russ doing all the work. So you can see what happens and where I get it done. So thanks for sticking with me to the end, guys. And cheers for the support as we near 30,000 subscribers. Don't forget to stay shiny side up, and I'll see you in the next one.